I'm April with Princess Soaps and Gifts, and today I'm going to teach you how to make one of my most popular soaps. All my soaps are based on Disney characters. They start out with princesses, but I've kind of expanded from that because I love going on Disney cruises. So I started making these as gifts, and I don't need them all. You make 9 to 10 a batch, depending on how you cut it, and so I didn't end up needing them all, and I thought, well, maybe other people would enjoy them. So today I'm going to teach you how to make Maleficent. Maleficent is a beautiful, I don't know if you can tell in the video, purple and black soap. It smells like lavender and a little bit of vanilla, mostly lavender, so it's a good soap for taking a bath right before bed to get you all into that mood. And of course, inspired by the fact that Maleficent put Aurora to cast a spell to put her to sleep. So, and thus we have Sleeping Beauty. So I thought Sleep Time would be the best scent to use. So we're going to learn how to make Maleficent. I'm going to put her right over here. What I use for this is 100% Crafter's Choice. It is the detergent-free clear soap base, and it comes in this, I order it in these big boxes. Cut them off. And it's a fairly clear soap base. I mean, it's not, I've used bases that are clearer but didn't have as good of a lather and actually had detergent. So you think if it has detergent in it, then it should lather up. But no, I found that this detergent-free soap base, it's got a nice lather. It leaves your skin feeling really nice, and so this is basically what I've started using from this point on. It's got kind of a, I don't know, it's a little bit cloudy, but it takes color really well, and like I said, I really like the way it lathers up. So for the colors, I'm going to use purple, and for the purple I'm using this Brambleberry Queen's Purple Mica. And also for the black, I use the Brambleberry Activated Charcoal Concentrate, and that gives it a really nice black color. I'm also used, and this is just to give it some extra sparkle, is this Brambleberry Fine Iridescent Glitter. It's not quite as fine as I was really expecting, but it does give it a shimmer. And I also like to use this Black Diamond pigment powder, which I found on Amazon. You have to be careful with this because it's like a white almost, so it will lighten up your color, which is one of the reasons this purple is so dark. So I use this to kind of try to lighten it up and give the purple some more depth. For the scent, I'm using this, it's called Sleep Time. Sorry, the oil gets, it's from Oakland Gardens and Fragrance, and I order this from Amazon, and it's a lavender and vanilla, and of course you need your alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So what I've already done is I had some black and purple. I'm kind of bad. I don't really measure things out the way I should, so sometimes I have some left over, and that's okay because hopefully I'll make some more. And so I just pour it into a mold and put it into a plastic bag and wait until the next time I make it. So this time I had a little bit of black left over from the last batch, and I had a lot of purple left over from the last batch. So what I use is these pitchers that I got from Target, and they were like $5.65, something like that. They heat up well in the microwave, and they don't get really hot. I've tried using things like the the big soup containers from Chinese stores, and they get really hot when I put it in the microwave. When I do small batches, I like to use this just Pyrex, and this is just for when I'm doing, you know, small batches or small molds or something like that. So otherwise I mostly use my pitchers. I need to get a couple more, but the last few times I've gone to Target they haven't had any, so that has been sadness. So I'm going to go ahead and melt these down. The way I melt these down is in the microwave. I want them to be about the same temperature when I pour them, so I kind of alternate, and I'll put it in there for the first time. I'll put it in there for about 70 seconds, 75 seconds. I'd recommend maybe doing 60 seconds because my microwave, I kind of need a new one, and it takes it a little bit longer than it used to heat things up. So I'll put the first one in for about 75 seconds, and then I'll take it out, and I'll put the second one in for about 75 seconds, and then I'll alternate about 30 to 40 seconds between, just depending on, you know, how thick it is. If it's still really thick, I'll do 40 seconds each one, and then I'll do 30 seconds each one. And if there's still some small, you know, chunks in there, it's okay, because that'll melt when you're stirring it. But you want it to be about the same temperature so that they'll cool off. I've got about the same amount here of each one, so I want them to cool at about the same temperature so that they will be right when I want to mount them up. So I'm going to go stick these in the microwave, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We've got everything melted down. I did 75 seconds, 45 seconds, and 30 seconds. And my black, it's kind of gray since there was already black soap in there. So if I can get the right angle there so you can see without pouring it out. And the purple, though, since I had so much purple, it's a really pretty color purple there. If you can see, it's really shimmery and nice. The black has some, I had some sparkle residue in here, so the black has some nice sparkle to it. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more color anyway, just to it, make sure that it's really saturated, because since this is already really purple, I'm not going to put near as much purple mica in there as I normally do. Now you can a lot of times I'll use a shot glass, and I'll pour some alcohol in it and mix it up really good in here, and then pour it in there, but I'm running low on alcohol right now, so instead I am just going to wing it and just dump it in there. And as long as it's hot and you mix it up really good, it'll be fine. The first time I did it, I didn't mix it up very well, and it you could see some spots of where the mica hadn't completely disintegrated, but this mica is really nice, and it usually disintegrates really well. I'm going to put some of this fine iridescent glitter in there, just a little, since it's already got some. And just because this is kind of a really dark purple, I'm going to put in a pretty decent amount of this white diamond, and that'll kind of lighten up that purple a little bit, but not make it lavender, because we don't want lavender. We still want that deep rich purple. We just want it to be a little bit, have some lighter streaks in it, so it doesn't blend in with the black. This purple is so dark, it under, you know, low light, it almost looks like you don't see the purple in there as much. You have to, you know, but in natural light, or, you know, in the bathrooms, you can really see the purple streaks in there. Like what to call them. I try to go for like a marbled look. So I'm just stirring. I use these bamboo skewers to use for shish kebabs. And I'm just stirring it up. You'll get a little bit of mica that'll stick to the sides, and you know, that's okay. You just don't want to see any chunks of mica hanging out in there. I keep saying I'm going to get one of those fancy like things. They're not that much. Just haven't splurged for it yet. But yeah, that's now it's just really beautiful. You can see the different shades of purple and lavender that's in there. So, oops, let's add some scent to it. I don't want my soaps to be really smelly because this is a Disney cruise, and I've had so many people say, you know, well, I have problems with scents, and so if one person in the cabin has a scent problem and the other one doesn't, I don't want everyone to miss out because my soaps are super powerful scented. So since I am marketing towards a larger market, I don't use as much. I don't even use near the amount that you could for this soap. I just kind of put some drops in there, put my nose in there and smell it, and kind of see how it does me. I'll put it aside and I'll smell it again in a few after I get done with the black, and just see where we are. So the black I do the same with. I just dump it in there, and black takes a little bit longer. This charcoal takes a little bit longer to dissolve, but I'll put a goodly bit in there. And charcoal is supposed to be really good for your skin, so I don't mind using it. In fact, a lot of the high-end soaps that my grandmother used to use was black, and I never realized that the reason it was black is because it contained activated charcoal. And here she is spending lots of money at Belk's for it, and I can make it at home. Now the charcoal does really stick to the sides of the thing, and I just kind of, it's a little bit more fine. Just kind of scrape it off and just keep stirring until I don't see any powdery chunks in there, and it's nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. Okay, sometimes you'll get some little soap bubbles that go up, but yeah, I think that's nice and black there. You can see, to get a good angle, nice and black. Alright, we'll put some scent in there. It's one of my favorite scents. I love this sleep time scent. It's one of my, in fact, my boys do too. They use Maleficent. So Maleficent is not just for girls. They like the smell of it. And since I give them baths right before bed, a lot of times they'll use the Maleficent. Of course, now that I made Captain Jack, they've been using that because it's like black and red. So it's kind of cool. Just put a few more drops. I mean, these drops doesn't come out, they don't come out really fast. So yeah. I think that's pretty good. I think that's good. Alright, so now This is the mold that I use. It is, I get about 10 1-inch bars, unless I cut them a little bit big, and then I get 9 in a sample bar. If I cut them right on, I can easily get 10 out of here. So that's what I'm going to pour it in. Let's see what our temperature is. I use this Etex City temperature gauge. I got it on Amazon. It was really cheap. So black is at 129 and the purple is at 125, which is fine because black's at 130. I did the purple first. So even doing the purple first and interchanging it, I've got 130 degrees Fahrenheit and 125 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's okay because I'm going to pour the black first and I'm going to pour the purple into the black, and it'll cool off. The black will cool off a little bit. So I'm going to sit here and let it sit for a few minutes and come back and measure the temperature again. Hi, I'm back to check my temperature. So my black right now is at about 119 glare, and my purple is at about 116. So what's showing you the let's see if I can get this to work. 18. Okay, so it's saying 118. And then my purple is at, oh, that's about 117. So they're coming along nicely. Now what I've learned about this detergent-free clear soap base is that the temperature, I want the temperature to be a little bit lower than I normally would when I was using the Stevenson's, which I really didn't like the lather that I got from that, or the organic that I first started using off of Amazon. Those I would pour this at about 115, but this soap base, it seems to have a little bit different of a temperature level. So if yours is really gummy already right now, I mean, I've got a little bit of a skin on mine, but it's not super gummy yet. So if yours is already getting really gummy because you're using a different soap base, then go ahead and pour it. But mine is still a little bit warmer than I want it to be. I don't want the colors to melt together. I want them to stay completely separate. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes and get it down to about, I don't know, 105 I think, and see how it's looking then. So I'll be back. Alright, we're back. We've got here is the black is now at 113, and the purple is it's down to 107. So I'm going to go ahead and get this poured. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour the black in. There's some big chunky pieces, that's okay. That being it's about halfway full. It's looking like it is. A little bit left clinging to the sides. Might be able to melt that back down. You don't really have to. I'm going to spray the top with rubbing alcohol to get rid of the bubbles. And my purple is really chunky. So let's go ahead and get that poured in. See how gooey that is while I'm pouring it in. And that's good because hopefully the black and the purple will not melt together and we'll get a really nice swirl pattern in there. Ooh. Don't jump off. Okay. Alright, so I've still got some clinging to the sides here. So I'm going to melt that back down and pour that over the top. But did pretty good. I got about a 1/4 inch from the top there. So might need to add a little bit more, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and melt down the rest of my black and my purple so that I can pour that there over the top. Okay, I've melted down what I had left, and I'm going to kind of left it a little bit too long. I'm going to kind of pour it on top of there. After spraying it with rubbing alcohol, that helps it bond. Most of the black, there's still a little bit more. And here is the purple. And yet it doesn't quite, I still need some more. So I'm gonna have to add a little bit more. Which is fine, that's basically why there's a larger purple strip on this one, is because that's what I added to the top. Spray that with alcohol and cut up some more, and I'm just going to use purple on the top. I think I won't do any more black. So I'll be back. We're back. I have melted down and colored and scented a little bit more purple. I'm going to spray the top of this with my rubbing alcohol, and this is fine. It's hot. It's about 140 right now, but that's fine because I want to make sure it bonds, and if it wants to seep down a little bit, it's okay. Actually, the top's already nice and hard, so the hotter it is, the better it'll bond. So I melted down a little bit too much, and what I do when I do that is I have these hearts right here, and when I have a little bit extra, I just pour it in there and let it harden, and then I'll use that the next time I go to make some lettuce. I'm going to spray that, get the bubbles off, and let that harden. Now, since I am using a wire cutter, I actually cut this. I usually let it sit about 5 hours, but if you're going to be using a knife or something like this, then you can let it sit overnight. You're going to want to make sure it's really hard. This glycerin soap gets a lot harder than the traditional cold process soap does. So if it's really hard, then my wire cutter won't go through it. So I'm going to let this sit for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll cut it up and we'll see what we got. Hopefully we got some beautiful purple swirls through there. So we'll be back.